If you have a budget for your event, you're already one step ahead of the game. And if you have a tight budget, it doesn't mean that you have to sacrifice quality. So here are 10 tips to help you have a budget-friendly event, but one that's still awesome. And stick around to the end because I've got a bonus one for you, and it's not what you were expecting. So the first tip for how to have a budget-friendly event is to, number one, set a realistic budget for yourself, for your team, for your company, for your overall event. Now, what I mean by that is don't set one that's too high and don't set the one that's too low. Set one that you think is actually going to be worth your time, worth your while, and is not going to break the bank. Now, here's how to do that is you need to break down your budget into different layers. You've got your venue, you've got your catering, you've got your entertainment, you've got your equipment. You might even have decorations and things like that. So be sure to break it down into categories, set a realistic expectation for yourself, and then start from there. Tip number 2 is to choose an affordable venue. According to a survey by Eventbrite, 80% of event planners believe that the venue is the most critical factor of their budget, and it's affecting their budget the most. So if you choose an affordable venue, maybe it's got to be one that's under your budget. It's got to be one that fits your actual needs. You don't want to go to a site that is only one room if you're going to be doing breakout sessions for your event. That's just not going to work. So make sure it fits your needs and it fits your budget. Now, if you live in a certain city, you can type into Google and you can say venues near me. And they're going to pop up with a bunch of different recommendations. Those would be traditional venues or what's considered traditional venues. If you want to go with something that's a little bit more budget friendly, go with a non-traditional venue. Find some place that doesn't normally get rented out. Maybe they don't even have it on their website, but they are not normally thought of as an event venue, and you can probably get them at a better rate. According to an article by EventMB, finding a non-traditional event venue can save you up to 20 to 30% of your line item for your venue. Tip number 3 is to do DIY recommendations. Now, I don't want you to end up on Pinterest fail. Nobody wants to end up on Pinterest fail, but you can find some great and easy ways on how to make your event look awesome by going to Pinterest or by going to YouTube or things like that and finding crafts, finding things at Hobby Lobby, finding things online or on Amazon that you can buy that are going to make your event look awesome and are not going to break the bank. Tip number 4 is to find cost-effective catering. Now, you don't have to bring in a 5-course meal. You can bring in certain things, or you can even plan your event around meal times. Let's say you want to host a 3-hour event. You don't have to plan it over lunch. They can do lunch on their own, come to your event. You can provide some cost-effective catering via snacks and then drinks, and then they can go off to dinner on their own as well. Now that's if you're even paying for catering. Some events you don't need to pay for catering at all. Maybe you are doing a smaller, more intimate event and you can do things like a potluck where everybody brings one item or something along those lines. According to a study by NACE, which stands for the National Association of Catering and Events, a catering budget should account for 30 to 40% of your event budget. Now that's by a catering organization, so maybe it's not quite so high in the budget that we're creating, but you should potentially consider it to be that much of your budget. So if you can save somewhere along those lines, it's really going to help you out in the long run. Tip number 5 to help you have a budget-friendly event is to leverage social media as well as word-of-mouth marketing for your event. If you want to do something organically, you should post organically. You should find other people that can post organically for you. Maybe they get a discounted ticket if they post to their followers. Or maybe they get a discounted ticket, an early bird ticket, if they simply click here and share on their Twitter. So there's different things that you can do for word of mouth and organic social media marketing. And in that way, you can save money by not having to pay a marketing firm, not having to pay a PR firm, and you can do so in order to save money on your budget. Tip number 6 is to shop around. Shop around. Shop around. Now, obviously, I don't mean around like that. Shopping around means don't just go for one option when you're looking at vendors. Don't find just one venue and ask them for their prices. Find 5 venues. So you should consider where they are located, but then also the budget, and that's going to give you a wide range of items to look for. When you shop around, make sure you do it for the venue. Make sure you shop around for the AV, which is the event equipment that you're going to need, the microphones and things like that. Make sure you shop around for the catering. Make sure you shop around for the decorations and the marketing or PR that you're going to do. Make sure you shop around for the drinks and the bartenders. So shopping around means getting multiple different options together so that you can consider them all side by side and pick the one that's best for you and your event. Tip number 7 is to tell people that you're shopping around. Shop around. So when you get on the phone, you're going to tell them, hey, yeah, I just wanted to let you know I'm considering multiple other options. You're one of them. I saw that you got great reviews and I would love to get a decent price from you. Now, the reason why you're telling them that you're shopping around is so that you actually get a good deal. Some people might compete on prices. So if they know that you're shopping around at other competitors, they say, well, if you find something more expensive and we're close to it, come back to me and I'll get you a deal. Tip number 8 is to ask for discounts. You can ask for the nice guy or the nice girl discount. You can ask for the early bird discount. You can ask for the autumn or the fall or the August or the July discount. Just make up a discount and see if there's anything that's available that's out there. And the worst that they can do is they can say no. And here's the thing is that they might have a discount available, but you just don't know about it. So go ahead and ask and see if there's one that either they can make up on the fly that they already have running, or maybe they're just going to give you a discount just because you asked. Tip number 9 is to offer trades in order to get speakers or venues or things like that. And here's what I mean by this. Let's say you have a really nice office space and you want to go and host something at someone else's really nice office space because your clients have already been there before. Well, what if you approach the business manager or you approach a friend of yours who owns that business space and you say, hey, I would love to use your space for an event that I want to host and I'll take care of all the logistics. All you got to do is let me in. And whenever you want to, I want you to come and use my office space. So maybe you can get a deal simply by offering a trade. Or if you're looking at hiring a speaker to come into your event, you can say, hey, I would love for you to come and speak. And in exchange for maybe a discounted rate on their speaking fee, you say, hey, I'm offering to do X or Y. If you're a financial planner, maybe you offer to do their taxes at no cost for them. I don't know. You can come up with different things on your own, but that is a way that you can save money on your budget. Tip number 10 is to ask for volunteers. Ooh, pick me. Hey, sign me up. Volunteers to help you at your event is going to save you a ton of time, a ton of energy, and it can save you a ton of money. A volunteer can be eager and energetic. Maybe it's someone who wants to get into the event planning space. Maybe it's someone who needs volunteer hours for community service. Maybe they're high school students. Asking for volunteers is a great way to save you money, and it's a great way to get extra hands and feet to make sure your event runs smoothly. The way in which it's going to save you money is maybe they are the ones that are helping with the decorations. Maybe it's someone who wants to get into the event space and they're a brand new decorator for events and they've never done something like this before. So asking for volunteers for your events is a great way to save on your budget. And finally, it's time for your bonus tip. This is the one you weren't expecting. Tip number 11 is to host smaller events. Everyone in this day and age is trying to go bigger, badder, and better. But hosting smaller events is a great way to save on your budget. You can have a smaller venue, which is a smaller venue cost. You can have a smaller equipment budget or no equipment budget if you don't need one because you've only got a handful of people that are there. And maybe you are saving money also on the catering or the travel for your people. Hosting a smaller event is a great way to build more intimacy and better relationships with either your customers or your employees, as well as ways to save money. So what you might not have been expecting is me to say, hey, rather than have this huge blowout event and you can save $100,000 simply by going here, what if you host a smaller event with 10 to 20 people and you can just go deeper together and have better conversations, and it will save you a good chunk of money on your budget. Now, if you're already on a tight budget and you want to be more productive in your event planning, check out this video where I go through some free artificial intelligence AI tools that you can use that will speed up your event planning process, and they're free, and then the paid versions are relatively inexpensive to use.